dear friends of cultural heritage, it's my pleasure to be here and to be invited to talk about this cultural heritage that is stimulating all of us to work for a better world. But first of all, there was said that we are at the basis of this event in Berlin. No, we are three. So the idea for this heritage, let's say, summit came from Germany and from our German colleagues, the DNK and the Stiftung Preußischer Kulturbesitz. And they were looking for support in Europe, and we, as Europa Nostra, thought this is what we have to do now. Point has come that cultural heritage is going to have another influence, not looking back in anger or in just regretting it doesn't work and they don't listen to us. No, let's take the floor. Let's bring cultural heritage to the fore. And that's what we did together. And then the Commission came and the Commission was supporting it. And what we did is so creating here this week this first ever European summit for cultural heritage. We are used to a political summit, a social summit, even education was the last one, that was the newest one. No, we made a summit, not political, not social, not economical, but on cultural heritage as a central value. So it's all of this, it's political, it's education, it's social, it's economic, but it's much more. And that's what we want to prove today, we want to speak of, and I'm happy, so as well with your introduction, so we have a basic value of human people, and your introduction, this all comes together. And I think doing this in this institute, ICD, the Institute for Cultural Diplomacy, this is just marvelous, that we make this bridge throughout the core business of the people working here, of the students here, this whole group of people looking at the world and are being interested, being convinced that a fantastic instrument they have is a soft power instrument, and cultural heritage is giving this. So I'm happy to be here and to be able to talk about that. Okay, so I was warned, but so this I just now want to give. Let's say, cultural heritage has come to this point where we are now. It hasn't come just like that. But we are now at a moment where we should dare to say and make us not only heard, but listened to, and then afterwards brought to action, this about this cultural value. So we all remember very well that the Berlin Wall, at a certain moment it was taken down, and this was an emotion all over Europe, but not just to make a larger Europe, but a greater Europe. That's what we want to make. And cultural heritage is just a unique, a fantastic symbol for not creating what now we are doing and what you were speaking of in Europe. We are creating new walls. Walls between people, walls between ideologies, walls between religions, so between nations. So we need bridges, and that's what we are doing, talking cultural heritage as a bridge. And it's a bridge between generations. It's a bridge between citizens, a bridge between identities, between communities. It's a bridge between past and future. It's a bridge between a bridge you need to meet each other and to share these values you have been speaking of. And these values, it's not about welfare. Of course we need this, but we need more. We need well-being. And it's about beauty, and it's about quality of life. This sounds very good, but it's not just sounding. So you see this picture here, all those people have this booklet. This is the study, Cultural Heritage Counts for Europe. It exists in 10 languages. This is the management summary. Please, this is a study done over 300 studies, bringing together, that's what I've said. It's here just evidence-based. It's not just a dream. Because I have a dream is nice, but you have to do it. So here, please go for this, and you'll find this in these booklets. Now, cultural diplomacy is let's say, the way, the channel we believe in, is the way it should happen, among other ways. Let's talk today about this and what can we do with this. And we have chosen to take endangered heritage, because endangered heritage, if you believe that cultural heritage is such valuable, then when it is endangered, a reason the more to take action. So, and therefore, that's also, you will speak the next days, you will hear, instead of this Berlin Wall, we come to a Berlin Call. That's what we are going to launch, a Berlin Call, really fundamentally to the people, to the politicians, but also to ourselves. Go to action. So not just speak about it, but be consequent, behave what you say according to your words. So now, who is behind this? Europa Nostra, just 3 slides just for those who don't know us, I think maybe. So we were founded in Paris, we headquartered in The Hague in Holland, and we have an office in Brussels where 2 people are working in relation, so that's also diplomacy towards the Commission. What do we do? Pan-European Federation of Heritage Organizations. We pretend, we behave, we try to be the voice of civil society committed to the safeguarding and the promotion of Europe's cultural and natural heritage, and as well tangible as intangible as digital. I think we have to live in the time now. That's our time, so we have to work on this. So we are present in 48 countries, so we can say we are European, and 248 heritage NGOs, non-governmental. That's our core business. We have, of course, 120 public or private partners, but they are not the voting members. We are non-governmental. And so the cities, regions, and we have more than 800 individual members. So you are invited if you feel you're welcome. We would like to have you as individual member too. And of course, just here's our president. So we needed a voice and we asked him, and he has been working as our president. Now, what do we do? 3 things, and I'm not going to go in detail, but only we are lobbying for cultural heritage, and this summit is a result of our lobbying to the Commission, to the Council, to the Committee of the Regions, and so on, so we are everywhere. We are celebrating excellence because I think that's important. First of all, we should be proud of, and we should encourage people by what they have been doing. So you have to promote excellence, and then also you have to campaign for endangered. The awards, we did this, just a figure, because the European Union has commissioned us to organize for them this European Prize for Cultural Heritage. We did this already from 78 on, and in 2002 we were commissioned to do that. Look, every year we have up to 30 laureates get this prize, this award, 7 Grand Prix and 1 public choice at the moment. So Friday night you will hear who is the public choice, because we are not doing that. That's the public. Last year, about 10,000 people have been voting for the public award. 4 categories: conservation, research, dedicated service to heritage, and education, training, and awareness raising. And all this is judged by an international jury of experts. So just a figure, because I think you should know this. From 2002 to 2017, 455 awards have been given from 34 countries. And this year, so next Friday evening, so we got this year 163 applications from 31 countries, and Friday night, 29 winners out of 18 countries. So this is the reality of our awards. But here we come to danger. So we were 50 years old. We said, okay, we are adult enough now to now not just be enjoying, but also let's be aware that we have to pinpoint this is danger. This we have to do for several reasons. And I hope we can discuss about the reasons why we do this afterwards. So we launched this in 2013, and we got a very fantastic partner. We got this because that's a civil society, NGO. You got an agreement with the European Investment Bank Institute. We said, okay, we are your partners. Not that they are giving that lot of money, but they are giving their expertise, and that's what we needed. And so we gone. So objective is to mobilize public and private partners to find a viable future for the most threatened heritage sites in Europe. So we say very clearly we are poor as well as other NGOs, but we have not money to bring. but expertise, coaching, and advice, and so on. So every 2 years, a new list of 7 most endangered sites in Europe is published. That's multidisciplinary teams of a jury and financial experts go on the spot, a rescue mission, help looking for solutions, looking for management for business plan, helping where finances can be found, and so on. So this is a commitment of we are on your side. That's important. Eh? And so entries can be submitted by country representations. And the gimmick in this is we first publish a short list. It's as the Oscars. You make a short list. And those who are among the short list can use this. Because they are nominated on European level as endangered, and they do this. They work. Of course, at certain moment, we are only the 7. But it's not because you have not among the 7. These 14, this short list is very important, and that has already given very interesting results. So, you see, this is over Europe. If you look what we have been doing in the 4 past campaigns. So this is where we are in Europe. It's really, let's say, good to say that we are a European organization. So this was the first list in 2013. So I'm not going to talk about all this, but just as a small introduction, you see here going very wide. It's going from Mardin in Turkey, and there. So Mardin in Turkey, so the Armenian Church of St. George in Mardin, and here you get again what was mentioned already before. So the people who are with religions. Are they getting together? Are they understanding each other? Are they just pushed out? How are they forgotten? So this, I think it's very important. This is very, very well done. This project has gone halfway, but now is the question, how can it go on? So this church had been derelict since the beginning of 2000, so it wasn't, so the preceding century, 20th century, and now it has been restored, partly. You have to go on because this is such a symbol for societies living together. You get here Rossia Montara. You will hear more about this later on. You have then, for instance, on to the right, San Benedetto. It's not always because of neglect, because of policy. It can be of nature. So when there is an earthquake, cultural heritage can be damaged, and you have to manage. How do you manage the risks that are not only man-made risks, but nature-made risks? You have Cyprus in the middle, and you have then, for instance, look at the top, right? You have the Vauban fortifications in France, in Briançon. That's so huge. What is the result of this for the moment? This is that they have accepted now, the government, that this can't be done by the local organizations, can't be done by the local government. This is something of national task. The public authorities have also certain responsibility, and you have to look, where's the balance? Who can do what? So this is the Roman Amphitheater in Duis, in Albania. And so this is another thing. This has been discovered in the beginning of this century, a fantastic thing that they have found back. But if they leave it now and don't integrate this in the urban planning, then all this energy done by archaeologists and so on is going to be lost, because this is so unique as a testimonial of what society and what Europe has been. The same here, the church I was talking about. This is another one. This was at 14, and I can just talk you because it's not always big monuments. Look at the top here. You have, so in Antwerp, the theater. So this is the city theater in Antwerp. This is almost the only one in Europe that has still this full Italian stage machinery, 3 floors under the stage, where prop-ups come from the side. And what were they going to do? Say, okay, we need space, we don't use this, we don't know how to use this, just get away with this. And we use it for something else. We have been protesting, and now, 3 weeks ago, the new plan is going to be protected and restored. So this is a meaningful way of you convincing public authorities, because so they were really angry with us, but say, okay, this is a value, such a unique thing in Europe, you should use this. You have to the bottom there, to the right, you have a synagogue in Subotica. And Irina, who is here, so can tell more about this when she is on the floor. So there you have another. This is in Serbia, but it's helped and supported by Hungary. And how can this grow now? It has been restored, but then, what do you do with this? How do you integrate this in a further project? You can look to, here's Alessandria. So this is the most huge fortification in Italy. It was also, nobody didn't know what to do anymore with it, and they left it. Because we have been protesting, and Italy government has, and they have taken the measures now, first of all, to do the necessary protection immediately, and looking for a new future for it. So you can go, so I'm not going to take them all, just to show a little bit diversity. This is the theater, these huge machines under 3 floors, and it's incredible when you see that. You say, how did they do? But it must have been fantastic. If you could make now a festival with Baroque theater with those machines, this is a unique possibility. So this is in 16. You'll see here, for instance, at the bottom left, this is the Patarei sea fortification in Estonia. This is such a document of human history, of Russian occupation or Russian country, of military use, of prison, of war, of concentration. Everything is in this. How does a country work with this? How do they invest in this and why? So this is a very good example of the importance, but it should not be monopolized by one party or by one, just to give their theory or their ideology. It's very important, but this should be done. But you have very small, interesting in the middle, this famous, just a bridge. It's a bridge in Dieppe. And there's a fantastic, unique example copy of such a bridge that's still working. And then, public authorities say, no, it has to go quicker, it takes too much time to turn this. Okay, we make a new one. And opposition, and it has been decided now, recently, in France, by the Senate, no, it should remain. So because this is really, it's because of modern comfort and so on, they say, okay, we change. No, that's not the reason. What people were protesting, it was their bridge. But, of course, you can win and you can lose. So I was showing to the right there that you have the airport in Finland. This is a really working airport at the moment. So everything is there. The whole space is there. Instruments, machine, buildings. And they say, okay, we don't need it really anymore. So you know what we do? We keep the buildings because hey, we can't just take this away because it's historic, it's listed. But all the open space, we make there nice apartments and with buildings and so on. Has been a protest. And finally, we lost it. The government goes on with it. You win one, you lose one. That's part of life. So this was here a sign. And then I just want to show this. In Turkey, so already years ago, there was a plan of the government to make a huge dam for energy, electricity. But if you build a dam, you need water, and then you have to flood all what's behind the dam to get the energy. And that's what they did. So they for huge, enormous regions, are going to flood this. This Hazan Cave is one of the very unique symbols and vestige of the former society, of the culture. The buildings there, so this is fantastic as you look at it. So, but they are going, take it away. This is going underwater. Of course, they are not damaging what's underwater, but it's lost for society. Maybe it has to happen, but that's something else. But then they also move people. Of course, people are living there. They construct houses, but without talking to the people. Just the government decides, and there you go. So we have been protesting, and we are more or less losing, we think. But what happened? So I was 2 months ago speaking for Turkish authorities in Turkey, and the day before I got from a colleague. First of all, this is what we have said, and I read this. It is the only text I'm going to read. This is, for instance, what we last year wrote to the government. The board of Europa Nostra deeply deplores the decision of the Turkish government to build a dam that would lead to the flooding of a site of world significance without proper and transparent justification and without adequate compensation measures. We urge the Turkish authorities to adhere to the principles and standards of heritage protection, which are included in the European conventions adopted under the auspices of the Council of Europe, and of which Turkey is a signatory, namely the Granada Convention and the Valletta Convention. We also make a strong appeal to the Turkish authorities to set up a proper consultation process, you see, proper consultation with local communities and civil society organizations concerned in an open and transparent manner. It is by now very late, but applying best international practice to this case of outstanding but endangered heritage could still be helpful. That's what we could do. And what was strange, the day before I was giving this speech there, going to in the airplane, in Flight magazine, they had a whole article about the icons of Turkey. And this was ancient city of Hasankaya and its surrounding in Turkey. So they were giving, even before they had been touching it already, this, and I just got the information that it's still nowadays in the in-flight magazine. So it's very, so I said, maybe there's hope, you have changed maybe your opinion, but it's strange that people use this, although they say we are going to spoil it. So this is also, and then that's for today. The 7 most endangered, I'm not going to speak about, these are the 7 most endangered that we have today here. And so I think that this has been as introduction. I hope I've not been too long with my introduction. This is what we think, what we have been doing. We are very happy and we are as much interested as all of you. The idea that Luca came, or the man, so here of the Institute for Cultural Diplomacy, he said, this is what we should do. We ask some of our students, let's say students, to present these 7 of this year. So we are also very interested, how are they going to do this, and what is this going to bring, and then we'll have a discussion afterwards together about this. So I leave now the floor to those students, just saying, adding still that we are doing this heritage. This is part also of the 10 major projects, the 10 major focuses that the European Commission has with the year. One of the 10 is getting awareness and managing the risks of cultural heritage. So this is one of the 10 focuses of the Commission for the year. But of course, what we say, and that's the last thing I'm saying about this, it's not about the year. The year is fantastic, that's a momentum, it's a turning point, and it's getting at. But the legacy of the year, what are we going to do this afterwards? What is going to remain? And what can you also in the cultural diplomacy use as ideas? How can you support us? How can we bring to you the problems you have to work on, you can work on, and you can find solutions for this better world? You have been mentioning the human word, because, don't forget, cultural heritage is a human right, and we have to be aware of this. We have to fight for this. We have to dare to declare this. But that's enough. I leave this floor now to the 7 colleagues who are going to present, and I think the first one is the post-Byzantine churches in Voskopoja and Vituki in Albania. Thank you.